Hi, and welcome back to Alex Talking. Today, me and Sweet Kitty Peaches are going to be doing a ranking of the Pixar 29 film catalog. We're now at 29 movies from this studio that started in 1995 with Toy Story. And let's just get right into it. Out of 29 movies, we got some good ones to talk about. And starting at 29, it's a really bad one Lightyear. I know. It's unfair to talk about Lightyear while I have such a pretty kitty on my lap because socks is the only redeeming quality of this movie. Otherwise, everything about this movie is bad. It's a stupid idea. Oh, you have to leave because I'm talking bad about the kitty cat spaceship movie? That's fair. But, stupid idea made to make money. Nobody wanted to actually make this movie that you can tell there is no artistic merit or thought put into a second of it, and it's a complete waste of time. Coming in at 28, we have Turning Red. This is not that. This is a movie that is bad and I don't like it, but it at least is trying to do something that's original, and I can appreciate it for that. I wish that the little girls weren't all just so unbearably obnoxious and annoying, which is something I talked about in my ELIO review. That Pixar, I don't know if it's honestly maybe like a Disney mandate that they want to appeal to like TikTok babies and iPad kids, but they don't write kids to be realistic or relatable or actually likable at all anymore. It's all make the kid a rat bastard, and then you can think about, how come the mom doesn't like them? How come they don't have a good relationship with their aunt? Because the kid's really annoying. The kids are really annoying. Um, but no, this movie doesn't work for me at all. Um, my fiance really loves it, which is something I'm happy for her about, but no, not for me. Coming at 27, you have The Good Dinosaur. This is another one that was bad, and it was bad in a way that was like, oh wow, they can just make really generic, meaningless movies. Okay, we weren't used to that at this time at all with Pixar. Um, but this movie is like the first, I would say, the first movie they put out that was a total nothing burger. And I don't know anyone that left this saying that's one of their favorite Pixar movies or even thought it was good, let alone at all worth remembering. And that is, I would mark this as the beginning of the end for their reign of being the best animation studio. Most people point to Cars 2. I have no issue with Cars 2, as you'll see later in this list, but this is a movie that is nothing. Coming in at 26, the actual probably worst number 2, the direct sequel of any of these movies, is easily Finding Dory. Um, I like Ed O'Neill as like the octopus. I like the dolphin. I like Sigourney Weaver's even as herself in this, which is funny. But this is one of those things that whenever you stop to actually think about this being the decade in the making sequel to Nemo, I mean, it is just nothing short of a massive disappointment and not something I would ever choose to watch again and not something I've ever been able to really get through in one sitting. I have seen it through school. Like, so my sister went and saw this in theaters without me. I remember being so hurt by that. I was like 11 or 12. And then my parents were like, okay, well, whatever. And then I never saw it in theaters. I think I probably chose to see Star Trek Beyond over this, if my memory serves, or something like that. And I never saw it in theaters, even though it was something I was looking forward to for a long time. 2016, it says that came out. So I would have been, yeah, I would have been by that point 12. And I was pretty much past watching movies like this. 2016, I would rather go see Independence Day Resurgence as my shitty sequel than Finding Dory. Coming at 25, just a year later, another really bad one. This is a really bad Cars movie, Cars 3, but I will say this. When I worked at IKEA in Småland, which is the children's daycare area of IKEA, I was able to put on G-rated movies for kids throughout all day, and the Cars movies were always frequently requested, and usually you just end up playing Cars 1, 2, and 3 all back to back. And that gave me a bigger appreciation for this movie, because kids really like it. I've always found it to be pretty lame, but not nearly as bad as something like Finding Dory either. I'll say, like, it's not as much of a wow. I can't believe that this is as poorly done as it is. Oh wow, Peaches is chasing after a little mouse out there, one of her little toy mouses. Um, Sorry, I get excited watching her. Peaches. She likes watching birds now too, man. Just put up a cat tower for her. I know she'll be going out there and doing that. But yeah, Cars 3, 25, nothing special. Um, but had some great posters. Coming in at 24, we have Onward. This is the first Disney Plus movie they released. I never remember this one exists. I saw it twice the day it came out because I watched it in the morning and then my dad wanted to watch it that night. Um, and yeah, it was fine. I'd say it was the type of thing I hated the second time around just because I didn't like it that much the first time. And then watching it the same day, I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not funny. And I don't like it. But honestly, no, it's fine. It's not bad. It's totally fine. Coming in at 23, Brave, which is also one that's just totally fine. From here on out, they're all solid to good. We're out of the bad, thankfully. Which leaves us with 23 good movies to talk about. And Brave is one I saw in theaters as a kid. I really enjoyed it. Watching it as an adult or any time past the age of like 12 in any situation, um, it became something where I was like, I just don't really care. It doesn't do anything for me. Um, I don't care about the princess. I don't care about much of it. I like the bear. I like the bear parts, but otherwise, I mean, this movie's fine. Once again, a total 3 stars. Like, it's not bad by any means. It's fine, but I am a 21-year-old man. Like, what am I gonna do? Say I like Brave? Coming in at 22, we have A Bug's Life. This is definitely a Pixar movie from back in the day, like that I had access to as a kid that I saw the least. I always thought this was fine, but nothing much more than that. And the animation is a lot more. I was gonna say dated, but I mean the original Toy Story is very dated too. But for whatever reason, that one doesn't bother me as much as a kid watching something like this did. I think just because the bugs are freaky looking, but there's some cool stuff here. There's some solid stuff here, but this isn't a movie I remember or think about at all. Coming in at 21, talk about a really disappointing sequel. A movie that I don't, I don't, I don't want to dislike at all. But every time I think about it, I just find myself thinking, I can't believe how bad or just disappointing and mid that was. Because this is still in the mid range, and that's Incredibles 2. First time I saw it, I really enjoyed it. Second time I saw it, I enjoyed it significantly less. And those were the only 2 times I saw it in theaters. But I still thought it was like a solid 3.5. And then I watched it at home with my sister, and she had a good time with Jack Jack and stuff like that. But it's just so hard not to feel left cold by how half assed the ending is and how boring and predictable and formulaic and generic and lame it is. At a certain point, you can be formulaic. At a certain point, you can be predictable. But it all falls apart when it's poorly done and lame. All the new superheroes are so lame, so cringy, so embarrassing. The way that they're written, I I'm so disappointed. Like looking back on it, this is what this movie is because it's not something anyone's ever gonna really want to ever go back and watch. Even after watching the first one, no one's gonna be like, now put on the second one. You know what I mean? And like that's a little disappointing. That's just what this movie is. It's nothing special, and that's almost I would say entirely to blame on the villains because part of what makes the Incredible so good is Syndrome and how great he is, and I bet her name's like Val or something, some like girl boss name, and yeah, that chick is an awful villain, just awful. You see it coming from about 300 miles away, and then she's so cringy and embarrassing. Catherine Keener is delivering every single line read. It is humiliating thinking about it. Oh, I'm just thinking about hearing that voice come out of that short-haired character and how cringy that movie gets in the third act. It is so disappointing. Coming in at 20, ELIO. ELIO, the new movie, the new dog on the block. 20 out of 29. Not great, not that bad. Not that bad. This movie has a very, very fun atmosphere, fun visuals. It's up in space, and the new space friends we make with those squishy little creatures, it's a lot of fun. I unfortunately feel like the script fails on almost every level to elicit real emotions from anybody, to actually earn the themes and thematic exploration it's attempting to, in the way that the movies higher on this list earn in a much smoother and seamless way. They don't feel nearly as strained to try to make themselves take itself seriously. They just are well written, and this one is not. But I like the character of Glorden, the friend he makes in space, and that was enough for me to really enjoy this movie. Just fun space stuff with a cute little alien. Coming in at 19, Coco. Coco, this one everybody likes, and I have only ever seen it once, and I thought it was mid the entire time until the ending still made me cry. And that's what told me, hey, this one's pretty good. Nothing special. I've never rewatched it. And I watched it back in 2019. I didn't see it in theater because once again I was 2017. I would have been 13 or 14 at that time, so I definitely was way too old. I don't even remember seeing trailers or caring about this. But then everyone told me how good it was, so I finally watched it, and yeah, it was solid. Coming in at 18, Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is one of those sequels that, when you hear the story of how it got made, it's like, oh, well, you know what? It's really good for that. It was made to go straight to VHS, and then they lost all the files, I think, for it. And then they were like, well, it's actually pretty good. Let's send it to theaters, and the rest is history. Toy Story is a huge franchise, our biggest franchise. They're doing a fifth one. And this is one that a lot of people consider to be their favorite. And I think it's because it has the funniest bits and spurts. I find this to have the weakest story throughout, but the funniest bits and spurts with characters like Stinky Pete and Zurg as fun antagonist characters, the Barbies driving around Big Al's toy barn, all that sort of stuff makes it really funny and really memorable. All the Buzz Zurg stuff is. But the actual story of this one is one that I find to be the least engaging, to be 100% honest, and don't even remember the parts of it that Andy is involved with at all. Coming in at 17, Ratatouille. Ratatouille is something I will have at my wedding. The food, not this movie. And I'm looking forward to trying that. Overall, this is a very solid movie. Watch it a lot with my sister as a kid. This was one of her favorites. I've always thought it was just fine. Really boring through the middle acts. To the point that I almost always think I got bored of it and would go on and do other stuff and never get to the ending. I mean, obviously I've seen it, but actively, this was one as a kid when my sister would put it on, I would be like, ugh, okay, it's another Ratatouille day, because it's fine to me. But as an adult, I actually have come to appreciate it a lot more than I did as a kid, and I'd give it a 3.7 out of 5. It's a good movie. Coming in at 16, Monsters University. This is one my girlfriend and I love to watch. The kids at Small End and I love to watch. I always had it as 3 stars on Letterboxd as from when I got first on Letterboxd, and my memory of watching it as a kid, I always thought this movie was just fine, perfectly fine. And watching it as an adult, it's just so funny, so charming, and so full of life in a way the movies below it aren't to me. And I know it's probably a hot take to have Monsters University halfway up this list. I think a lot of people don't like this one as much, but it is one of the Pixar sequels that actually works for me because it knows what it's doing, and it feels a lot more sure-handed in that approach than something like Finding Dory or Cars 3, because it feels a lot more confident in what it's doing. Coming in at 15, another Pixar sequel that's actually good, Inside Out 2. This was from last summer, last June. Did a lot better than ELIO's going to do at the box office. And yeah, Inside Out 2 was way better than I expected. I rate movies out of 5 But I always can go into a movie and I like ask my girlfriend, "Hey, what's your excitement level? 1 to 10." Not 1 to 5. I always just do 1 to 10. And I remember our conversation on the way to Inside Out 2. She was like a 5, and I was like, That's better than me. I'm at like a 3. Like I didn't think it looked good. I was not looking forward to it, and I thought it was great. I really thought this movie was a lot of fun, and the anxiety attack stuff in the third act, the way that's visualized is very strong and really, really impactful. I wish Io Edeberry got more to do since she was in this voice cast, but um, otherwise it's good. There is some stuff. Almost wish anxiety was the only new emotion that got introduced. I know that's stupid to say, but none of the other ones do anything interesting. So they feel all completely superfluous and like they're just taking up space and screen time from the other characters. Um, but yeah, like the Paul Walter Hauser one is like barely a character, can barely speak. I understand like that's also part of the point, but like they all feel so like half measured. It's really weird to me. I remember that really sticking out as like, what's Ennui actually doing here other than just sitting on a phone for a bit, which isn't funny. So I like was so confused by that writing and the inclusion of those ones to just be completely meaningless. But the actual ideas with the anxiety and stuff was powerful. I like that the Inside Out movies just explore the worst day on the job for these emotions. If you think about it, like they get kicked out of Central Hub or whatever in both of them, and are like having to go through all of Dreamland to make it back and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, you literally just get to see these emotions on their two worst days at the office between Inside Out 1 and Inside Out 2. When shit hits the fan the hardest, those are the two movies we see, which is just funny to think about. That we don't get to see these characters explored in any other setting other than, wow, this is going horribly. Coming in at 14, Up. This movie has that beautiful, beautiful opening and a really solid second and third act to follow up. Russell's fun. The dog's fun. Dog. I used to hate this movie as a kid because it made me cry, and I was always mad at stuff that made me cry. But as an adult, I just really appreciate this movie for being such a big swing and the type of thing that really is what makes Pixar special. Looking at a movie like Up as one of the biggest examples, um, it is like yeah, it is the type of movie that makes Pixar special because what other animation studio is funding this beautifully, gorgeously animated movie of an old man and a kid like exploring like grief and aging and adventure in such a beautiful way. That's what makes Pixar special. Coming in at 13, right above it, just for sentimental reasons, is Elemental. Elemental is a sentimental movie for me because I waited all summer to see it, because my fiance was working at a camp in Wyoming. We'd only been dating for 6 months at that point, and I wasn't able to go with her, so I was separated from her for 79 days. And this came out, and she was so excited for it leading up to it, and I wouldn't see it without her because I knew I wouldn't enjoy it even a third as much if I saw it by myself. I knew I would have just thought it was whatever. But I really wanted to see it with her, and then it was out of theaters by the time we got back together. That didn't matter. I just was excited to show it to her on Disney Plus eventually, and enjoy that time together. And then Labor Day weekend hit, and the Big Mo, the drive-in near where she lives in South Carolina, that is a drive-in that has a big giant peach. When you go there, it was showing this movie, and we were able to go see it, and took a Pizza Hut pizza to go, and we snuggled up and just had a great time. So, I like just fully acknowledge looking at this list. Elemental is not as good of a movie as Up. Elemental has bad voice acting, more than any other movie on this list. I don't know what they were doing with the voice cast in that one. Um, I don't. I mean, I don't blame the people, but the dude who played Wade is so embarrassing and annoying as a voice actor, um, that it really didn't work for me in a story that otherwise was very interesting and very cool. So I really enjoy this world they built with Elemental, and I would honestly not be bothered if they made a sequel. I don't think they ever will, because that one really struggled at the box office, but ended up having strong legs and legging it out to be successful. But I don't imagine it'd get a sequel. But this is a movie I really enjoy uh, with my fiance. Coming in at 12, the funnest looking movie maybe on this entire list of post pandemic Pixar movies. Which Pixar honestly is to be honest, a studio that I feel the weight of the pandemic on them more than most other studios. They've been really struggling to make it out of that. And Luca at 12, second best movie coming out of the pandemic, and it visually is so striking. The water is so great, and the kid's relationship is fun. The town is fun. The dad is fun. The dog is fun. It's a fun movie about merboys having fun, and I enjoy it. Coming in at 11, Toy Story 4. This is a good movie. This is a good movie. I think a lot of people overhate on Toy Story 4. That's a good movie. This movie makes me cry. This movie makes me laugh. This movie actually exists for a reason. You could have just given Woody and them all a happy ending and stay together, but with Toy Story 3. But Toy Story 3 also was meant to challenge you by showing Andy growing up in the same way that this actually shows Woody growing up and making a decision based out of his own self interest for once. And that's an interesting exploration of these characters to me. Buzz Lightyear and Jesse and the entire rest of the crew get sidelined. They don't in these latter era Pixar movies, they really don't like writing side characters well at all. They just don't know what to do with them. It feels like a lot of the time, and this is an example of that. But the actual like main substance and core of this movie, ignoring what you would go for, like ignoring what you feel you need from a Toy Story movie, like Buzz Lightyear stuff, it's a good movie, and I really enjoyed the ideas and themes explored in it. Coming in at 10, this is the one I was meaning when I said that Luca was the second best post-pandemic Pixar. The best is Soul. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that Soul is actually head and shoulders above any other movie they've released since the pandemic. I really enjoyed Luca and Elemental, and ELIO was a good time, but Soul is the only one that actually comes close to touching the heights of classic era Pixar, and I find it to be a beautiful rumination on death, and I think that Soul could have gotten a Best Picture nomination in 2020. Actually don't really understand how something like Trial of Chicago 7 or Promising Young Woman was more deserving of it than and there was worse stuff even too. Even Borat 2, isn't as good to me as Soul. So it's actually always really confused me Soul didn't get that Best Picture nomination in such a weak year that 2020 was, because it absolutely deserved it. Coming in at 9, I told you I had no problem with Cars 2. Yeah, Cars 2's at 9. This movie's fucking hilarious. That's all I have to say about it. It's a spy movie with animated cars where you have Larry the Cable Guy voicing a rusty tow truck that says "Daggum" and guns come out of his side, and then he shoots a bunch of cars that are called Lemons, and they have a torture sequence where Bruce Campbell voices a car that gets overheated until its engine explodes, which is like the equivalent of a heart exploding. It's just an absolute deranged trip of a movie that, if you watch it through the lens of it's funny, then it's the funniest movie on this list, and it's one of the funniest movies you can watch. This movie is just so hilarious. I saw it for the first time on a Disney cruise ship, which probably just adds even more love and nostalgia for it. But I have no problem pointing my eyes at this movie. It is a blast. Coming in at 8, the original Toy Story. Classic for many a reason. Because it was the first one, because it made Pixar the success it was, because it was the first CG or 3D rendered animated movie, and because of the aliens, the little cute alien toys and stuff. This is a great movie. The story of it and the script are just so clean, so strong, and the relationship between Buzz and Woody that is explored and developed here is awesome. And the way movies should be written for kids. Just because they're kids' movies doesn't mean they need to be bad, doesn't mean they need to be lowest common denominator, bottom feeders, slop. Pixar used to prove that all the time. Very few movies prove that as much as the Toy Story and Toy Story 3. Coming at 7, Inside Out. Inside Out's a lot of fun. I think that it is a really interesting and unique story and way to visualize this thought and the type of thing that Pixar is best at just doing this original idea that is for children as much as it is for adults, that makes you actually think about things, which makes you actually feel emotions, which is what this movie's all about. And I thought it was excellent. I thought it was the best movie of the year when I was a 12-year-old in 2015 or 11-year-old. I remember thinking it was going to get nominated for Best Picture. I thought for sure it would be because I had started following the Oscars the year before, and I was like, that was it. That was the like that was one of those type of movies. It was that good. And my uncle was like, yeah, I really think so too. And then it wasn't nominated, but hey, at least it was good. Coming in number 6, you got Toy Story 3. I wanted to get to Toy Story 3 because I was just talking about how good Toy Story was. And yeah, Toy Story 3 is my favorite of the franchise. And packs the biggest emotional punch. The only movie I've ever seen my dad cry at. The ending is just phenomenal. Everybody knows it. It is the best ending on this list. It's the best ending of probably any animated movie. It is beautiful. And I'm not even just talking about the incinerator. I'm talking about the Bonnie scene and everything. You know, I mean, this movie it goes for the fences, man, and it freaking knocked that ball out of the park. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I like all the new toys. Those are great designs. The big purple octopus, the like mantis buff guy. Lotso Hugging Bear is a great villain. Big ups to Toy Story 3. Oh, and the monkey from Stephen King's The Monkey is in this. Coming in at 5, Cars. I really enjoy Cars, and this was the first movie I ever saw in theaters as a kid. I couldn't fathom being someone who thinks that this is when Pixar fell off because it was when I got on, if you know what I mean. First movie I ever saw in theaters, you know how important that is to me if you know me. So I will always appreciate Cars, but the actual movie itself is also great. Paul Newman as Doc is fantastic. Owen Wilson's an awesome voice actor here as Lightning McQueen, and these characters are just so fun. Luigi and Guido are my favorite, but Ramon's awesome. Radiator Springs is such a charming design for a little town, and the scene where it lights up is just forever etched in my brain. And like I literally remember 2006 being 2.5 years old, going to see this with my uncle and my sister, and that scene exploding my brain. It also made me obsessed with racing and cars as a kid, which who wasn't after they saw this. Coming in number 4, Finding Nemo. It feels so wrong that this is this low. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to call an audible and say number 4, The Incredibles. Man, I just couldn't put Nemo that low. Nemo was special to me, and I watched it so much as a kid. These top 5 are forever favorites that as a kid I watched just non-stop. So Cars and Up are all 5-star movies I love. Hey kiddo, how you doing? She's back. And yeah, so number 4, we're gonna switch that to The Incredibles. What's not to love about The Incredibles? It is a great action movie, a great superhero movie. The characters are awesome. Oh, you're so pretty. I love the characters in this movie. They're so aptly written, but the universe and the lore and the exploration of the superheroes that aren't even your main characters, the opening with like the flashback, or not even flashback, but just taking place in the past, is fantastic. The kids are so fun. Violet and Dash are like how children should be written in these movies. If you think about that, comparing it to something like ELIO or Turning Red, how the children in those are written, Dash and Violet are so much more charming and witty and fun here. And yeah, the action works. Syndrome's a great villain. Great movie. Number 3 now is Nemo, Finding Nemo. This is a beautiful movie with some of the best ocean visuals ever put to screen. My coworkers, I work at the British Swim School, and I'm a swimming instructor for babies, and they tell me, you're really the crush of this place. You're crush from Nemo. And that's like the best compliment I think I've ever got. And yeah, man, I really enjoy this movie, and as someone who loves water, cannot get enough of how great the water visuals are. Coming in at 2, Wall-E. If you watch me back whenever I did this, um, when I was in high school, and I did Pixar rankings, I think Wall-E was at the top of almost all of them. Wall-E or Cars, and yeah, Wall-E is one of those movies that's a complete triumph of cinema, and maybe the best movie on this list in terms of quality. If they had 10 Oscar nominees in 2008, I think this would have been nominated, um, because it is just a pure marvel of the beauty of and power of cinema and the stuff that they accomplish in this movie. The swings they go for in a children's movie to have so much of it be silent, so much of it be old timey, and so much of it just be really nuanced and powerful. I don't necessarily love the design of the people in the third act. The older I get, the more it bothers me. But I'm never going to let that ruin this movie from being something that's absolutely phenomenal and genuinely one of the most beautiful and powerful animated movies ever made. And the visuals, especially whenever they're in space, are so impressive and so breathtaking. Thinking about Wall-E like touching the stars, that is why I say that after ELIO and how great the visuals in that one is as well, Pixar should stick to making space movies because they do it really great. But coming in at number one for me this time, and this is just one that once again I've grown to love way more because of how much I watch it with my fiance and how much of a comfort movie it is for us, is Monsters Incorporated. Just like Monsters University got that bump, Monsters Inc. I watch it all the time as a kid, to be fair. This has always been a top five for me, but I'm very comfortable in saying it's my favorite because I love watching this movie and it makes me laugh out loud so consistently. Billy Crystal and John Goodman are the two best voice performances on this list. Probably, to be 100% honest, they're fantastic. And Steve Buscemi as Randall, don't sleep on him, man. Everybody in this cast brought their A game, and they're so funny. Um, Boo is awesome, so cute. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. The little kid that bites his finger, Mike Wazowski. All these bits are so funny. And then they get to go see the Abominable Snowman, and he gets infinitely funnier and serious, but very funny. So, Monsters Inc. comes in at number one. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too low energy. I started to get really bad headache, and I think it's stemming from how bad a back pain I'm in right now. But I just wanted to do it because my grandma likes watching these videos, and I thought this would be one that she would really enjoy. And I was hoping Pumpkin or Peaches would be with me more, because I know she really enjoys that as well. But maybe that'll be in the next one, because she's out wandering. I think she's out watching birds. I watched her walk out that door and over to her cat tower around the corner. So I think she's out watching birds, but maybe next time she'll sit on my lap for you, Mimi. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your Pixar ranking down in the comments, what you thought of ELIO if you went and saw that, and any other favorite animated movies you have or any other thoughts. Thanks for watching and have a great day. God bless.